Remember what we learned, okay?
Relay this kindness. Now your wife is dead. Walk away.
Howard. Does that make what you're doing easy?
One bullet reveals his true character. Well, here they are. Or kill me. Choice is yours. Now do you have the balls to do it? Hey, baby. Look what?
The outsider has not been contained.
Is the Gromont. This hotel has been...
¡Mátenlos a todos! Middle. Blame him. My gift to you. 殺してってくれ。
Kane.
It sounds like a... I don't know you. How much?
But it's getting you to take better care of yourself, Johnny.
Leave.
He has no marker on you. Fallen far to believe.
I don't want to do this. I...
They fail.
Yeah. 矢を操ってよ。
No.
Stop!
vision?
Copy. Hold your position.
Okay.
Let's get you out of here.
He's moving. Halt.
Ella, honey.
Why did I?
Better life than this.
I can't. That's not.
Help me protect her. Baby. No, not. Hi.
Fuck it.
A woman. Continental security. I did not break it, didn't kill anyone.
This will take a bear's head off.
Chancellor, blow it.
dropped the ball.
And now. Our wicked friend is on the move again.
Yes? Pay for the service.
The
Has the church inside before Mr. Wicks.
Yes.
Kane? Maybe. Or 9.
You can't shoot, but I can shoot him. Let's go, John.
Nothing personal, John.
Attention, every citizen. You destroyer.
Interest of Hallstatt's survival.
Ever left the seat of power to...
Sir, we've also lost track of John Wick.
John Wick.
Come on, he's only...
Cut across here. Is going to change. Will continue as it has for the life. You are chosen.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the sleek, brutal, and surprisingly graceful world of Ballerina, the latest spin-off from the John Wick universe. We follow Rooney, a ballet dancer who moonlights as an assassin as she seeks vengeance for her family. Get ready for some incredible action choreography, stylish violence, and perhaps a few more rules from the infamous High Table. It's going to be a wild ride, so buckle up. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way. To help me keep making more, our story truly kicks off with a gut punch as young Rooney witnesses the brutal murder of her entire family. The visceral thuds of gunfire and the chilling silence that follows leave an indelible mark. It's a classic origin story, really, tragedy begetting a thirst for revenge.
is dead. Walk away. Howard.
Does that make what you're doing easy?
One bullet reveals his true character. Well, here they are. Or kill me. Choice is yours. Now do you have the balls to do? Hey, baby. Look what?
I'm sorry, honey.
She's quickly whisked away to the Ruska Roma, a clandestine organization that, as we know from the Wickverse, trains the most exquisite dancers and the deadliest assassins. Here, under the watchful, utterly terrifying eye of the director, Rooney begins her transformation. The air crackles with the swish of silk as ballerinas float across the stage, but beneath that elegance, you can almost feel the tension of a ticking time bomb. This isn't just a dance school. It's a factory for vengeance, meticulously crafting its instruments. Years fly by in a blur of blood, sweat, and plies. We get an epic training montage that truly marries the brutal beauty of ballet with the lethal precision of assassination. The crack of a whip hitting a mat echoes the thwack of a punch. Rooney's body becomes a weapon, every muscle honed, every movement economical. We see her mastering everything from close quarters combat, where the snap of bones is disturbingly frequent, to long-range sniping, with the soft click of a scope adjusting. It's like watching an Olympic athlete train, if the Olympics included, disarming 3 guys with a single, graceful kick. Honestly, it makes my morning coffee routine look incredibly lazy by comparison. She's not just learning to kill, she's learning to kill with style, a deadly dance of destruction. Despite the Ruska Roma's strict code, Rooney can't quell her burning desire for revenge. She begins to dig, using her burgeoning skills to unearth fragments of information about her family's killers. Her first unsanctioned kill is a masterclass in silent execution. In a bustling, vibrant marketplace filled with the chatter of vendors and the clatter of goods, she dispatches a low-level contact who could provide a lead. The whole thing happens in a blink, a silent shush amidst the chaos, leaving only a bewildered expression on the target's face before he slumps. No dramatic flourishes, just cold, calculated efficiency. It's a stark reminder that even a beautiful dancer can become a ghost in the crowd, leaving only questions and a growing body count. Rooney's investigation leads her down a rabbit hole of seedy contacts and hushed whispers. She tracks down a particularly greasy informant in a perpetually wet alleyway, the drip 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 of leaky pipes a constant, irritating rhythm. The man is clearly terrified, his voice a nervous squeak as Rooney's cold gaze bores into him. After a brief but intense persuasion session, let's just say it involved less talking and more a subtle crunch of a kneecap, he coughs up a name, Silas, and a blurry photograph of a shadowy figure. It's not much, but it's a start, a spark. In the darkness, and Rooney feels that familiar thrum of anticipation, a mixture of hope and vengeful fury. Silas isn't just some back alley thug. He's got muscle, and Rooney finds that out the hard way. Her intel leads her to a dilapidated warehouse district, which, let's be honest, is practically a neon sign for bad things happen here. The clanging of metal and the whoosh of air vents provide a natural soundtrack to her infiltration. She's quickly ambushed by Silas's goons, a bunch of burly chaps who clearly skipped leg day, but not arm day. What unfolds is a magnificent ballet of blades. Rooney, with a knife in each hand, moves with terrifying grace. The shink of steel against steel, the grunt of exertion, and the thud of bodies hitting the concrete floor are constant companions. It's an absolute masterclass in close quarters combat, proving that you don't need a heavy machine gun when you've got unparalleled skill and a serious grudge. Just when things couldn't get more interesting, who strides into the dimly lit, utterly chic assassin bar, but the Baba Yaga himself, John Wick. The clinking of glasses and hushed conversations suddenly seem to drop a few decibels, He's a man of few words, and those words are usually about not doing things. He offers Rooney a cryptic warning about the path she's on, the dangers of messing with the high table, and how some lines, once crossed, can't be uncrossed. The tension is palpable, a silent hum between two living legends. It's clear there's a history, a mutual respect, and a shared understanding of the brutal ecosystem they inhabit. He doesn't offer help, per se, but more of a good luck, you're gonna need it kind of vibe. You know, like when your grandma tells you to be careful at a family gathering. But with more guns, of course, word travels fast in this underworld, faster than my internet connection on a bad day. Rooney's unsanctioned vendetta doesn't go unnoticed by the big bosses, the high table, and adjudicator, looking impossibly calm and impeccably dressed, makes an appearance, their voice a silky smooth whisper that cuts through the ambient noise. Like a freshly sharpened blade, they inform Rooney, in no uncertain terms, that her actions are creating complications. The implication is clear: stop or face the consequences. A gold coin, with its familiar clink, is placed on the table, a stark reminder of the rules. The air thickens with unspoken threats, a silent challenge laid bare. This isn't just about revenge anymore, it's about navigating an entire system designed to keep its players in line. Naturally, Rooney decides that stopping isn't really in her vocabulary. The high table's warning just adds fuel to her fiery quest. This leads to a spectacular escape sequence from what looks suspiciously like a high table branch office, though we're not naming names. Wink wink, snipers with their distinct whip of silenced rifles line the rooftops, and a phalanx of perfectly tailored enforcers, all with the subtle creak of expensive leather, blocks her path. Rooney, however, isn't one to be cornered. She uses every architectural flourish as a springboard, every shadow as cover, her movements a blur of calculated chaos. The clatter of broken glass, the gasp of frustrated guards, and the distant whiz of bullets paint a picture of a woman absolutely determined to not be caught, even if it means redecorating a very expensive lobby with her enemies. Her relentless pursuit finally narrows down Silas's primary haunt, a ridiculously opulent underground casino, where the clink of chips is as constant as the hushed whispers of illicit deals. Rooney, ever the chameleon, slips in disguised as an impossibly elegant patron, her senses on high alert. The place hums with a dangerous energy, a velvet glove over an iron fist. She spots Silas at a high-stakes poker table, his face a mask of casual confidence, utterly unaware of the deadly ballerina watching his every move. The tension is almost unbearable, a silent thrum in the air as Rooney studies his tells, his habits, preparing for the moment she can make her move. It's a game of cat and mouse, but this particular mouse has a very sharp set of claws. The moment arrives, and it's spectacular. Rooney unleashes her fury, turning the glamorous casino into her personal stage for a brutal ballet. The shatter of crystal chandeliers, the clatter of dice, and the rapid-fire bang-bang-bang of suppressed firearms become her symphony. She ducks, weaves, and spins through a hail of bullets, using everything from a roulette wheel as a temporary shield to a pile of poker chips as a blinding distraction, sending them spraying into an enemy's face. The fight choreography here is sublime, a seamless blend of martial arts and acrobatic dance, each movement precise and deadly. It's like watching a really intense game of Twister, but with more broken bones and decidedly less laughter. Silas's men are falling like dominoes, their terrified yelps swallowed by the chaos. Just as Rooney closes in, Silas, the slippery weasel, manages to slip away through a secret exit. The frustrated growl that escapes Rooney is palpable, but she's not one to leave empty-handed. She quickly storms his private, lavishly decorated backroom, the creak of the heavy door announcing her entry. There, tucked away in a hidden compartment, she finds it, a meticulously kept, coded ledger. The rustle of its pages promises secrets, revealing not just Silas's network, but also implicating a far more powerful individual. This isn't just about Silas anymore. He was merely a cog in a much larger, more sinister machine. The plot thickens, much like my gravy at Thanksgiving, and the stakes just went sky high. Back in a safe house, likely one with excellent soundproofing, given her line of work, Rooney pores over the ledger. The quiet scratch of her pen against paper as the only sound as she meticulously deciphers its coded entries. It's like A really twisted game of Clue, but instead of Colonel Mustard in the conservatory with the wrench, it's a global network of assassins with high-powered rifles. The ledger exposes a vast conspiracy, linking Silas not just to her family's murder, but to a shadowy figure at the very pinnacle of the criminal underworld, a master manipulator known only as the Puppeteer. The revelation hits like a hammer blow, solidifying her target and expanding the scope of her revenge far beyond what she initially imagined. The deeper Rooney delves, the more terrifying the Puppeteer becomes. We see quick cuts of news reports, hushed conversations, and subtle but unsettling visual cues that paint a picture of an entity whose reach extends into every corner of the underworld, and even beyond. The soft hum of unseen power radiates from every revelation. They are a ghost in the machine, manipulating world events, controlling vast criminal empires, and ultimately responsible for the deaths of countless innocents, including Rooney's family. The weight of this discovery is immense, making her personal quest feel like a tiny ripple against a towering tsunami. This isn't just a high-level assassin. This is a strategic genius with an army at their command, making Silas look like a mere pawn in a deadly game of chess. Realizing the sheer scale of the enemy she's up against, Rooney swallows her pride and returns to the Ruska Roma, a place she vowed to leave behind. The familiar scent of old wood and the distant tinkle of a piano are a stark contrast to the violence she's been steeped in. She appeals to the director, explaining the true identity and immense power of the Puppeteer. The director, ever pragmatic, initially refuses, warning Rooney of the consequences of going against such a force, especially without high-table sanction. The rustle of the director's elaborate costume as she moves, the tap-tap-tap of her cane, all punctuate her stern warnings, but Rooney, with an unwavering resolve and a fierce glint in her eyes, insists. She knows this is a suicide mission, but it's one she must undertake. After much internal debate and probably a few dramatic sighs, the director relents, offering Rooney a sliver of aid, though not without stern caveats about the costs. It's a pragmatic decision, not a compassionate one. She grants Rooney access to a hidden armory, a treasure trove of exquisitely crafted, silent weaponry, blades that hum with deadly potential, suppressed firearms that make a mere whisper when fired. It's like a deadly version of Q's lab, but with more ballet shoes. The director also provides a crucial piece of intel. The Puppeteer will be attending a highly exclusive, heavily guarded summit, an event that would be impossible to infiltrate without inside knowledge. The click of the armory door closing signifies the point of no return. Rooney is officially armed and dangerous, with a target now firmly in her sights. The stage is set, a glittering, high-security summit gala, attended by the world's most powerful and most corrupt figures. The air shimmers with opulence and danger. Rooney, disguised in a stunning, yet surprisingly combat-ready, gown, moves through the ballroom like a ghost. The chatter of polite conversation and the clink of champagne glasses mask her true intent. She's scanning, observing, her eyes like a hawk, picking out security details, hidden cameras, and potential escape routes. The director's intel is vital, guiding her through the maze of guards who look like they eat small cars for breakfast. This isn't just a dance, it's a meticulously choreographed infiltration. Every step a calculated risk. One wrong move, one misplaced gasp, and her mission is over. And there he is, the Puppeteer. Not a shadowy figure, but a man of immense presence, surrounded by a coterie of bodyguards. He's surprisingly unassuming, yet exudes an aura of quiet power that makes the hairs on your neck stand up. Their eyes meet across the crowded ballroom, a moment where the world seems to go silent. And then a slow, chilling smile spreads across the Puppeteer's face. It's not a friendly smile, it's the smile of a predator who knows he's been found, and actually seems amused by it. This isn't just an enemy. It's a chess master who's been playing several moves ahead, implying he was expecting her, perhaps even welcoming the confrontation. The thump-thump of Rooney's heart against her ribs is the only sound she can hear. That chilling smile turns out. It was a gotcha moment from hell. The Puppeteer wasn't just aware, he set a trap. Laser grids, with their silent, ominous hum, suddenly crisscross the ballroom, sealing off exits. Hidden panels slide open with a soft whir, revealing an army of highly trained guards. Rooney is trapped. It's a classic villain move, but executed with such cold precision it's truly unnerving. The clatter of weaponry being drawn echoes through the suddenly silent room. The realization hits Rooney like a physical blow. She's been played. Every step she's taken has been observed, every move anticipated. The elegant Gala transforms into a deadly arena, and our ballerina is right in the center, severely outnumbered, but definitely not out of moves. The ballroom transforms into a maelstrom of violence. Rooney sheds her elegant facade, literally tearing away parts of her gown to reveal combat gear beneath. The rip of silk is quickly followed by the thump of a bodyguard hitting a marble pillar. She's a whirlwind of kicks and punches, a deadly dance through a field of enemies. She uses priceless artwork as improvised weapons, sending shards of ceramic flying with a devastating smash. The grunts of pain, the clatter of falling weapons, and the swish of her movements create a brutal symphony. She's outnumbered 10-1, but each enemy she takes down demonstrates the years of relentless training, the muscle memory of an artist honed into a killer. It's an absolute visual feast of meticulously choreographed chaos, making every other action movie fight scene look like a polite disagreement. I mean, who needs a gun when you can just gracefully kick someone into next week? After an exhilarating, bone-crunching brawl, Rooney realizes fighting her way through everyone isn't feasible. She needs to escape and regroup, triggering a series of timed explosives planted by the director's team. The boom reverberating through the structure, she creates a massive diversion. She makes a breathtaking descent down the exterior of the skyscraper, a truly cinematic moment. The whistling of the wind, the distant shrieks of alarms, and the flicker of fire in the windows behind her add to the sheer spectacle. Every handhold is precarious, every jump a leap of faith. It's a nail-biting, adrenaline-fueled sequence that makes you grip your seat, wondering how anyone could survive such a fall, let alone do it with such grace. I'm pretty sure my takeout delivery driver struggles more with a flight of stairs. Just saying. Having narrowly escaped the Puppeteer's clutches, Rooney links up with a small, grizzled team provided by the director, likely a collection of other problem solvers who enjoy a good challenge. The air in their makeshift hideout is thick with the scent of old coffee and fresh intel. They pore over new data, the soft click of a stylus on a tablet indicating a fresh lead. It seems the Puppeteer isn't just a strategist, he's got a personal vault, a digital fortress holding all his dirty secrets and, more importantly, the definitive proof linking him to Rooney's family's murder. The target is clear. This vault, it's no longer just about vengeance. It's about exposing a global network of corruption. The stakes have officially gone from very high to stratospheric. The plan is intricate, a symphony of digital and physical infiltration, while a tech-savvy member of her team, a hacker whose fingers fly across the keyboard, there screen a mesmerizing cascade of green code, battles firewalls that could probably stop a nuclear missile. Rooney prepares for the physical breach. The hum of servers, the click-clack of keys, and the tense breathing of the team create an immersive atmosphere. She needs to create a physical entry point, bypassing layers of laser grids, motion sensors, and probably a few very angry guard dogs to get to the server farm. It's a race against the clock, a battle of wits and raw skill, where even a tiny beep could spell disaster. We see her checking her gear, the metallic whisper of a locking mechanism, the creak of her tactical boots, every detail screaming mission critical, with a carefully timed EMP blast, a silent pulse that momentarily fritzes the entire system. Rooney breaches the vault's physical location. The sudden darkness, followed by the strobe-like flicker of emergency lights and the deafening wail of alarms, creates a chaotic, disorienting environment. This is her playground. Guards, already disoriented by the EMP, quickly converge there, panic shouts echoing through the corridors. Rooney is a blur of motion, a shadow in the strobing light, dispatching them with brutal efficiency. The crack of her baton, the thud of bodies, and the distant shatter of glass are her battle hymns. This isn't ballet, it's pure, unadulterated, desperate combat. She's a force of nature, driven by the burning memory of her family, cutting through anything and everything that stands in her way. Against all odds, Rooney reaches the central server room, the heart of the Puppeteer's digital empire. The room hums with the soft whirring of countless machines. With a click, she inserts her data drive, initiating the download of crucial files. The progress bar crawls agonizingly slow, a visual representation of the ticking clock. She can hear the distant thump-thump-thump of more guards approaching, their voices growing louder, their determination palpable. Every second feels like an eternity. The pressure is immense, a silent scream in her mind. This isn't just data, it's justice. its closure, and it's all riding on this agonizingly slow download. It's like waiting for your download to finish when you're on dial-up, but with actual life or death consequences. Just as the download completes, the vault doors begin to groan and slide shut, a final, desperate security measure. Rooney, with the data drive clutched tightly, makes a desperate dash, leaping through the rapidly shrinking gap. The metallic clang of the doors sealing behind her is a sound of both triumph and terrifying finality. She makes it out by the skin of her teeth, the thud of her landing echoing in the deserted corridor. But the relief is short-lived, as the sound of alarms persists, and the pitter-patter of approaching boots signals that the chase is far from over. This is not a leisurely stroll, it's a full-on sprint for survival. She's got the goods, but now she has to deliver herself intact. The escape from the vault ignites a blistering, high-octane chase across the city's labyrinthine rooftops. The screech of her tactical boots on concrete, the whoosh of wind as she leaps between buildings, and the relentless buzz of armed drones hot on her trail create a symphony of suspense. This isn't just running, it's a deadly dance across the urban landscape. Every jump, every climb, every slide a testament to her athletic prowess. She navigates the treacherous terrain with a dancer's grace, making even the most impossible leaps look effortless. The ping of bullets impacting the masonry near her, the whirring of drone blades, and the distant shouts of ground forces remind her that every second counts. It's a chase scene that makes you want to hold your breath for the entire duration and perhaps reevaluate your own fitness goals, just as Rooney seems cornered on a precarious ledge. A familiar crack of a sniper rifle rings out, and one of the pursuing drones explodes in a shower of sparks and metal. Who else but John Wick? From a distant rooftop, he offers a silent, deadly assist, his iconic silhouette framed against the urban sprawl. It's a brief, wordless intervention, a nod of respect from one legend to another, a subtle reminder that even when you think you're alone, you might have an unexpected guardian angel with a very big gun. The message is clear, I told you so, but also, you're not entirely on your own. It's a welcome relief, allowing Rooney to momentarily catch her breath before diving back into the relentless pursuit. Rooney's path eventually leads her back to Silas, who she corners in a grime-filled, abandoned industrial complex. The air is thick with the smell of rust and decay, and the drip-drip of water creates a chilling echo. This time, Silas isn't so confident, his usual bravado replaced by sheer terror. Rooney doesn't waste words. She confronts him with the undeniable evidence from the data drive, the proof of his complicity in her family's murder. His desperate whimpers and pathetic pleas for mercy fall on deaf ears. The snap of Rooney's resolve is almost audible. This isn't a battle, it's an execution, swift and final. The thud of his body hitting the grimy floor signals a small victory, but the real monster still lurks. With Silas dealt with, the data points to the Puppeteer's ultimate lair, a monolithic fortress carved into the side of a remote, snow-capped mountain. The howl of the wind, the crunch of snow underfoot, and the glitter of distant searchlights paint a picture of an impregnable stronghold. This isn't just a building. It's a monument to power, isolation, and paranoia. Every inch is covered by surveillance, every approach defended by state-of-the-art weaponry and an army of loyal enforcers. It's the final boss level, the ultimate challenge for our avenging Ballerina. The air itself feels colder, heavier, charged with the weight of the coming confrontation. Rooney, however, doesn't flinch. Her eyes, cold and determined, are locked onto her ultimate target, ready to face the music. However deadly this symphony might be, the final infiltration is a masterclass in stealth and precision. Rooney, clad in specialized gear, becomes one with the treacherous mountain landscape. The scrape of her climbing picks on ice, the whisper of the wind, and the almost imperceptible click of her grappling hook are the only sounds. She bypasses layers of motion sensors with the grace of a phantom, disables laser grids with precise hacks, and eliminates patrolling guards with silent, efficient movements. It's like watching a real-life ninja ballerina. The sheer scale of the fortress makes every step a perilous gamble, but Rooney's focus is absolute, her determination unyielding. She's a single, deadly arrow aimed directly at the heart of the Puppeteer's empire, refusing to be deterred by frozen precipices or heavily armed patrols. Finally, Rooney breaches the Puppeteer's inner sanctum. It's not a lair of shadows, but a shockingly minimalist, opulent chamber, filled with sleek, advanced technology and breathtaking panoramic views of the snowy peaks. The hiss of automated doors opening reveals the puppeteer, seated calmly, a glass of amber liquid in his hand, as if he's been expecting her for tea. He's not surprised, not angry. Instead, there's an almost academic interest in her arrival. The air crackles with unspoken history and the gravity of their impending showdown. This isn't going to be a quick brawl. This is the final dance, the culmination of years of pain and planning, and the puppeteer is ready to play his last, deadly move. It's the kind of confrontation that makes you want to grab popcorn and a comfy blanket, because you just know it's going to be epic. The final battle is a brutal, visceral symphony of cunning versus pure, unadulterated rage. The puppeteer, surprisingly, isn't a mere strategist. He's a formidable combatant, his moves economical and precise, almost like a deadly game of chess played with fists. Rooney, fueled by years of pent-up grief, fights with a ferocious, balletic fury, every kick, every punch, every pivot imbued with a desperate desire for vengeance. The thud of bodies against cold marble, the gasp of exertion, and the clash of their wills create an electrifying spectacle. The room itself seems to groan under the impact of their fight. It's not just a physical struggle. It's a clash of ideologies, of cold, calculating power against a passionate, burning quest for justice. The stakes couldn't be higher, and you can practically feel the desperation emanating from every strike. Who knew ballet could be so violently effective? After a grueling, brutal, and emotionally draining fight, Rooney finally delivers the killing blow. The thump of the puppeteer's body hitting the polished floor is deafening in the sudden silence. The weight of years of suffering, the burden of her quest, all seem to lift, replaced by a profound, almost dizzying emptiness. She stands over him, panting, wounded, the data drive still clutched tightly in her hand. There's no triumphant roar, no jubilant dance, just a quiet, weary satisfaction. The revenge is complete, the circle closed, but at what cost? The silence in the opulent chamber is heavy, almost suffocating, broken only by Rooney's ragged breaths. It's a bittersweet victory, the kind that leaves you wondering what comes next when the sole purpose of your life has been fulfilled. I mean, after all that, what do you even put on your assassin resume now? Even after the dust settles and the puppeteer is a mere memory, the data drive holds one last secret. As Rooney accesses a final, hidden file, a new truth, or perhaps a terrifying twist, is revealed. It could be a connection to another major player in the high table, a revelation about her own past, or a hint at an even greater, more insidious threat lurking in the shadows. The soft glow of the screen illuminates her face as a quiet gasp escapes her lips. It's a classic Wickverse move, reminding us that the rabbit hole always goes deeper. Her world, once clearly defined by vengeance, now expands into an even more complex, dangerous web of intrigue. The click of the file opening signals not an end, but a new, unforeseen beginning for our deadly ballerina. Rooney walks away from the devastated fortress, leaving behind the ruins of the puppeteer's empire. The crunch of snow under her boots is the only sound as the rising sun paints the sky in hues of orange and purple. She's a lone figure against the vast, desolate landscape, her silhouette speaking volumes about the journey she's endured. The rage that defined her for so long has dissipated, replaced by a quiet, almost unsettling peace. But in this world, peace is often fleeting. The whoosh of the cold mountain air feels like a new beginning, a fresh chapter, but one filled with unknown dangers. The world of assassins never truly lets go, and Rooney, whether she likes it or not, is now a permanent fixture in its brutal tapestry.
It's okay.
He is dead.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the world of bullet ballets and bespoke suits with a full recap of John Wick, Chapter 4. This installment truly ups the ante, delivering action so relentless it makes a caffeinated squirrel look lazy. We'll break down every bone-crunching, head-popping moment, ensuring you don't miss a single stylish kill. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. The film kicks off with our Baba Yaga, John Wick, recovering from his last adventure's rather impactful ending. He's got a fresh suit, a new lease on life sort of, and a vendetta. After a brief but intense training montage where he punches a large post like it personally insulted his dog, he makes his way to confront the elder. The high table might have new management, but John's old problems are still very much alive and kicking. John, ever the man of efficiency, makes a grand entrance, riding a horse through the vast desert expanse. He confronts the new elder, the supposed supreme authority of the high table. Now, you'd think after all this, John might be open to a little negotiation, a peace treaty perhaps? Nope, not even a polite how do you do. After a swift and frankly brutal exchange, John puts an end to the elder's reign with a rather definitive strike. The crack of the bone and the thud as the elder falls are almost poetic in their finality. With this act, John effectively declares war, not just on the high table, but on their very concept of authority. It's less of a declaration and more of a deeply personal, very loud, "I'm not done yet" statement. Enter the Marquis Vincent Bissett de Gramont, a truly obnoxious individual with a flair for dramatic pronouncements and an even greater flair for being incredibly smug. The high table, clearly fed up with John Wick's antics, grants the Marquis unprecedented power to finally put the Baba Yaga down. His mission to eliminate John Wick, and more importantly, to cleanse the high table of anyone who ever helped him. This guy isn't just a threat to John, he's a threat to anyone who ever even thought about lending John a spare pencil. He's all about sending a message, and that message is don't mess with us, or we'll send a guy in a velvet jacket to ruin your entire existence, and he's got the funds and the ruthlessness to back it up, making him a truly formidable and, frankly, quite irritating adversary. The Marquis wastes no time demonstrating his power, and unfortunately for Winston, the New York Continental Hotel becomes the prime example. He orders its utter destruction, a fiery spectacle that truly hammers home the stakes. The crackle of flames and the crumbling of stone echo Winston's own downfall, as he's unceremoniously stripped of his management and status. Karen, ever loyal, stands by his side, the click of the glasses as they share a drink in the wreckage a stark reminder of what they've lost. Meanwhile, John seeks refuge with an old friend, Koji Shimazu, the manager of the Osaka Continental. Koji, a man of unwavering honor, welcomes John, knowing full well the target this puts on his back. He understands the cost, but loyalty, too, is far more precious than peace. Predictably, the Marquis's forces don't take long to track John down. The Osaka Continental, a sanctuary of elegance, quickly transforms into a war zone. High-table assassins, armed to the teeth, breach the exquisite gates, their heavy boots thudding on the polished floors. The initial crackle of radio static is quickly drowned out by the thunderous boom of breaching charges and a symphony of gunfire. Koji, Akira, and their loyal staff spring into action, transforming the tranquil hotel into a fortress. It's a shocking transition from serene beauty to utter chaos, reminding us that even in the most refined corners of this world, violence is always just a heartbeat away. And let's be honest, who else but John Wick could turn a 5-star hotel into a tactical combat arena? The main hall of the Osaka Continental becomes the stage for a truly dizzying ballet of death. John Wick, now wielding a pair of nunchaku with terrifying proficiency, moves through a labyrinth of glass panels and ornate screens. The frantic thwack-thwack of the nunchaku hitting bone and what is almost as disorienting as the reflections themselves, creating a chaotic, multifaceted combat experience. Every direction seems to hold a new enemy, every shattered pane of glass a new glint of danger. Koji and his staff fight valiantly alongside him, a desperate, coordinated effort against overwhelming odds. The air crackles with the energy of constant impact, the grunt of exertion, and the metallic clang of weapons meeting. It's less a fight and more a desperate, stylish scramble for survival against an entire army of sharp-dressed killers. Koji's daughter, Akira, proves herself a formidable warrior, taking to the high ground with a bow and a quiver full of deadly arrows. The whiz of her arrows through the air is often the last sound an unsuspecting high-table operative hears before a sharp thud signals their demise. Her shots are precise, calculated, and delivered with a silent, deadly grace that perfectly contrasts the chaotic gunplay below. She moves with the fluidity of a seasoned hunter, a guardian angel maid of vengeance, defending her home and her father with every expertly aimed shot. It's a stark reminder that in this world, Even the most traditional weapons can be devastatingly effective in the right hands. You definitely wouldn't want to play dodgeball with her. The fight spills into the hotel's service areas, transforming the pristine kitchen into a scene of gory culinary chaos. John, never one to let a good appliance go to waste, turns everyday kitchen tools into deadly instruments. The clatter of pots and pans, the sharp shink of a knife finding its mark, and the squelch of bodies hitting wet floors create a visceral soundscape of close-quarters combat. He moves through the confined spaces with brutal efficiency, using every available surface and object to his advantage. It's a gritty, desperate scramble, a stark contrast to the earlier, more open hall fight. The smell of blood mixes with the lingering scent of last night's sushi, a truly unforgettable aroma of danger. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse for Koji, the Marquis unleashes his ace in the hole. Kane, a former friend of John's, now operating under duress from the high table, is a blind assassin with an unnerving ability to predict and deflect every attack. The distinct swish of his cane sword through the air is often the first and last warning his opponents receive. His movements are impossibly fluid, a deadly dance where he seems to see through sound and instinct. Koji confronts Kane, a heartbreaking standoff between two men of honor forced onto opposing sides. The tension is palpable, a silent scream of betrayal before the inevitable clash of steel. It's a somber turning point, emphasizing the brutal reach of the high table. In a truly gut-wrenching moment.
Kane.
That sounds like a... I don't know you. How much?
Koji makes his final stand against Kane, sacrificing himself to buy John precious time. The metallic clash of their blades fills the air, a desperate struggle of loyalty versus forced duty. Koji, though outmatched, fights with every ounce of his being, a roaring lion protecting his cub. But Kane, under the Marquis's iron grip, delivers the fatal blow. The slow, painful crumple of Koji to the ground is amplified by Akira's heartbroken cries, the sound tearing through the chaotic symphony of battle. The Marquis, observing the brutal execution, offers nothing but a cold, satisfied sneer, his casual indifference making the tragedy even more profound. It's a chilling demonstration of the high table's power and the Marquis's absolute ruthlessness. With Koji gone, John, despite his own injuries and the crushing weight of loss, is urged to escape by Akira. The thud of his footsteps as he runs echoes the finality of Koji's sacrifice. He's got to live to fight another day, to ensure Koji's death wasn't in vain. But as John makes his desperate exit, Akira makes her own vow, confronting Kane with a small, glinting knife, her eyes blazing with righteous fury. The quiet, almost whispered intensity of her threat is more chilling than any shout. The shimmer of the blade reflects her unwavering resolve. This isn't just a goodbye. It's a promise of future reckoning, a reminder that the high table's actions create more enemies than they eliminate. John's survival now carries an even heavier burden of vengeance. In a classic John Wick plot twist, Winston, rather than being completely ousted, finds himself in a bizarre negotiation with the Marquis. It's a chess match of wits, with Winston, ever the master manipulator, playing his cards close to his chest. He offers up John Wick's location and proposes a way to deal with the Baba Yaga once and for all, challenging him to a duel. The click of Winston's pen as he signs documents, the quiet rustle of papers, these small sounds underscore the monumental shift in power. The Marquis, confident in his ability to control everyone, agrees, seeing it as a public spectacle to solidify his own power. But we all know Winston, he's rarely just an observer. There's a subtle glint in his eye, hinting at a much deeper, more complex strategy at play. He's like a particularly savvy cat, always landing on his feet, even when he's been thrown from a skyscraper. John Wick, ever the globetrotter, heads to Berlin, seeking out a particularly rotund and obnoxious high table member named Gala. Gala, a man who clearly enjoys his luxuries, operates out of a pounding, neon-drenched nightclub. The deafening thump-thump-thump of the bass is a constant assault on the ears, making it impossible to hear anything else, including your own thoughts. John has to wade through a sea of gyrating bodies, each one a potential obstacle or, more likely, a future casualty. The pulsing lights flash across his stoic face, highlighting his singular focus. He's not here for a good time, he's here for a very bad time for Gala and anyone who stands in his way. It's a classic John Wick setup, high-octane action in a place where you'd normally expect to see someone doing a questionable dance move, not a professional killer on a mission. The club erupts into a violent frenzy as John begins his methodical sweep. He's not just fighting, he's a force of nature. The boom of his shotgun reverberates through the club, the concussive force sending bodies flying and drinks shattering. He moves through the multi-level establishment, clearing rooms with an efficiency that's both terrifying and mesmerizing. Every punch lands with a wet thud, every headshot is delivered with chilling precision. The pulsing lights only emphasize the chaos, turning the club into a strobe-lit slaughterhouse. It's a brutal ballet of close-quarters combat, a relentless surge forward with no hesitation. The sheer volume of enemies he cuts through is astounding, making you wonder how many people are actually on the high table's payroll. John finally corners Gala, leading to a frantic, surprisingly clumsy brawl that ends with both men tumbling multiple stories through the club, crashing through glass floors with a deafening smash, and landing with bone-jarring thuds. It's a surprisingly messy fight, full of desperation and raw force, a departure from John's usual pristine kills. Just when Gala seems to gain an advantage, enter Mr. Nobody, the tracker, and his incredibly efficient, bitey canine companion. The snarl of the dog and the ripping sound of fabric and probably flesh signals Gala's final, rather undignified end. The tracker then attempts to capture John, but our hero, with a surprising burst of agility, manages to escape, leaving the tracker frustrated and his dog probably wanting more blood. To regain his family's standing, and thus the ability to challenge the Marquis to a duel, John must fulfill a blood oath. This means taking down a high-table representative of his family. He meets with the head of the German branch, who initially rebuffs his plea. It's a tense, quiet negotiation, the only sounds the soft shuffling of cards and the clink of poker chips. But John, never one to back down, presents a unique revolver, a symbol of his determination. With a swift, brutal shot to the head, delivered with a chilling thwack, he fulfills his obligation. The collective gasp from the surrounding poker players is the only sound after the shot. He's officially back in the high table's good graces, at least enough to die honorably. It's a grim way to get your membership card back, but hey, it's the high table, not Costco. With the Duel set, John arrives in Paris and meets with Winston, who, in a truly remarkable turn of events, is not only alive but back in business. Winston, ever the master of elegant exposition, meticulously explains the convoluted rules of the high table duel. This isn't some back alley brawl. This is a formal, ritualized showdown with strict protocols, ancient weapons, and a designated second. The hushed, almost reverent tones in which Winston describes these rules highlight the gravity of the situation. It's a chance for John to finally gain his freedom, or, more likely, to die trying. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the path to peace is paved with the potential for bullets, blood, and perhaps a very stylish grave. He even gets a new, impeccably tailored suit because, naturally, one must look their best for a duel to the death. No duel to the death is complete without the proper accessories, and who better to provide them than the Bowery King? In his surprisingly spacious and well-equipped underground lair, he presents John with a new, heavily armored suit. The clink of the ceramic plates as John puts it on is a testament to its protective capabilities, though we all know it's more of a suggestion than an absolute guarantee against bullets. He also provides John with a carefully curated arsenal of weapons, each one meticulously chosen for maximum destructive potential. The snick of a magazine locking into place, the smooth slide of a pistol, these sounds are the familiar comforts of John's world. It's a poignant moment of camaraderie and preparation, a silent acknowledgement of the uphill battle John faces. Plus, you've got to admire the king's commitment to matching the weaponry to the occasion. The Marquis, in a move that's both cruel and cunning, forces Kane to be his second in the duel against John. Kane, a man who clearly values his friendships, is visibly conflicted, the lines on his face etched deeper with pain. The Marquis holds Kane's daughter's life as collateral, a truly despicable tactic that leaves Kane with no choice. The subtle creak of the floorboard as Kane shifts his weight, the heavy sigh he lets out. These tiny details convey the immense burden placed upon him. It adds a tragic layer to the upcoming showdown, transforming it from a simple fight into a personal betrayal, a clash of wills where neither man truly wants to stand on opposing sides. It's a masterstroke of villainy from the Marquis, twisting an old friendship into a weapon. The path to the duel isn't a leisurely stroll through a park. Oh no! In classic John Wick fashion, it's a high-octane gauntlet through the bustling streets of Paris. John, once again on horseback, finds himself in the mother of all traffic jams near the iconic Arc de Triomphe. But this isn't just traffic, it's a meticulously orchestrated ambush. The roar of car engines, the screech of tires, and the clip-clop of his horse's hooves mingle with the urgent blare of horns. Assassins on motorcycles and in armored cars swarm him, making every turn a potential death trap. It's a dizzying, adrenaline-fueled sequence where the city itself becomes a weapon and every pedestrian a potential witness to utter vehicular mayhem. Seriously, a guy on a horse in central Paris? The tourist board must be thrilled. The traffic circle around the Arc de Triomphe becomes a swirling vortex of steel and lead. John, a master of vehicular combat, is practically a human pinball, bouncing between cars, vaulting over hoods, and sliding across roofs. The constant bang-bang-bang of his pistol is punctuated by the gut-wrenching crunch of metal as cars collide and flip, turning the elegant Parisian landmark into a demolition derby. He's performing incredible gun-fu acrobatics, making impossible shots from precarious positions, seemingly immune to the laws of physics. It's a glorious, over-the-top symphony of destruction, with every bullet finding its mark and every impact rattling the very foundations of the city. Forget sightseeing. This is primetime John Wick, turning a historical monument into a playground of death. Against all odds, John manages to extricate himself from the swirling vortex of death. That was the Arc de Triomphe. He stumbles away, his suit torn, his body a map of bruises and cuts, the residual hiss of steam from wrecked cars fading behind him. He's clearly exhausted, but the fire in his eyes remains undimmed. The sheer audacity of what he just survived is mind-boggling, and for a moment, Even the relentless Marquis's forces seem momentarily stunned. It's a testament to his unbreakable will and his uncanny ability to survive literally anything. He's like a particularly stubborn cockroach, but instead of scurrying, he's murdering stylishly. This close call only fuels his resolve, knowing that the duel is his only true path to freedom, or at least a quiet nap. Still on John's trail, the tracker attempts another ambush, trying to snag the bounty on Wick's head. But his loyal, incredibly smart, and frankly adorable dog has other plans. When Chidi, one of the Marquis's chief enforcers, tries to intervene, the dog, sensing a threat to John or perhaps just enjoying a good fight, lunges. The guttural growl and the rapid snap of its jaws as it takes a chunk out of Chidi's arm are fiercely satisfying. It's a moment of unexpected alliance, where John finds himself with a canine protector who understands the true enemies. The tracker, ever the opportunist, uses the distraction, but again, John slips away, leaving him to nurse his dog's slightly questionable taste in targets. Who knew a dog could be such an effective bodyguard and narrative device? John, with a surprisingly quick recovery time, plunges into yet another high-energy, neon-drenched nightclub. This one, however, is a masterpiece of architectural menace, a multi-level structure built almost entirely of glass. The thump-thump of the electronic music is relentless, and the flashing lights create a disorienting, almost hypnotic effect. It's a gorgeous, deadly maze, every surface a potential reflection, every corner a hidden threat. He's looking for the pathway to the duel, but first, he has to contend with a veritable army of assassins. The atmosphere is thick with anticipation, the air practically humming with the suppressed violence that's about to erupt. John is practically a magnet for these places. Maybe he just likes the aesthetic, or perhaps it's just where all the bad guys happen to hang out. The Glass Room Club becomes a truly unique arena for John's particular brand of mayhem. With the crack of his pistol, he begins firing through the transparent and reflective glass walls. Enemies appear and disappear in a dizzying array of reflections, making it hard to tell what's real and what's just an illusion. The shattering sound of glass is constant, an urgent percussion to the electronic beat. John uses the environment to his advantage, predicting enemy movements based on their distorted images, creating a ballet of bullets and broken shards. It's a visually stunning sequence, a true testament to the inventive choreography that these films are famous for. It's like an action movie mixed with a funhouse mirror maze. Only the funhouse mirrors are deadly. As if a regular shotgun wasn't enough, John gets his hands on a dragon's breath shotgun, turning the glass club into an inferno. The terrifying whoosh of each fiery blast and the desperate screams of the burning assassins are both horrifying and incredibly effective. The room glows with the orange hue of flames, and the pop of ammunition cooking off adds to the chaos. It's a brutal, visceral sequence, showing John at his most desperate and most destructive. He's not just fighting for survival. He's fighting with a raw, primal fury, fueled by the accumulation of losses and betrayals. It's truly a sight to behold, provided you're not one of the poor souls being set alight. Talk about a warm welcome. Amidst the fiery chaos, John finally comes face to face with Kane. It's a brief, loaded standoff, their weapons raised, but no shots fired between them. The intense, almost ringing silence between them, despite the surrounding mayhem, speaks volumes. You can almost feel the weight of their shared history, the pain of their forced opposition. Kane, under duress, lets John pass, a silent acknowledgement of their past friendship. It's a poignant moment of reluctant duty versus unspoken loyalty, showing that even in this dog-eat-dog world, some bonds are harder to break than others. The Marquis's cruel manipulation continues to cast a long shadow over both men, turning allies into adversaries with a flick of his wrist. It just makes the upcoming duel even more heartbreaking, but the Marquis's forces, led by the utterly persistent Chidi, are hot on John's heels. They pursue him through the labyrinthine streets of Paris, a relentless, high-speed chase that leaves no stone unturned. The thud-dash-thud-dash-thud of their boots on cobblestones, the distant shouts of their orders, these sounds underscore the sheer determination of their hunt. Every alleyway is a trap, every corner a potential ambush. It's a testament to Chidi's unwavering loyalty to the Marquis, or perhaps just his stubbornness, that he continues the chase with such intensity. John is a moving target, constantly evading, constantly fighting, knowing that if he stops for even a second, it could be the end. He's like a particularly valuable piece of luggage that everyone is trying to claim at the airport, only with more grenades. Then comes the piece de resistance of physical endurance, the hundreds of steps leading up to the Sacred Basilica. The designated duel location, John, already battered and bruised, begins the agonizing climb. The scuff of his shoes on the ancient stone steps, the heavy gasp of his breath, these are the sounds of pure exhaustion and sheer will. Every step is a monumental effort, a physical manifestation of the burden he carries. Of course, the Marquis, being the utter gentleman he is, has placed an army of assassins along the way, turning the staircase into a deadly gauntlet. It's a cruel, poetic test, forcing John to literally climb his way to what he hopes is freedom. It makes my calves ache just thinking about it. Mid-climb, John is ambushed. It's a relentless, brutal assault, and to add insult to injury, he's repeatedly kicked and sent tumbling all the way back down the massive staircase. The sickening thud-thud-thud of his body hitting each step, the grunt of pain, the scrape of his suit against stone, it's a truly wince-inducing sequence. He's effectively knocked down, but he gets up again and again and again. It's a Sisyphean task, a literal uphill battle where every step forward is met with a forceful setback. The tracker, watching from a distance, seems almost impressed by John's sheer, stubborn will. You really have to admire the commitment to making John's life as difficult as possible, both physically and emotionally. Just when John seems truly defeated, on the verge of missing his duel, the tracker's dog, once again, comes to the rescue. With a furious bark and a series of savage snaps, the dog tackles Chidi, biting him in a rather sensitive area, giving John the precious seconds he needs to finally crawl, stumble, and pull himself to the very top. The raw, guttural growl of the dog and Chidi's pained yelps are a symphony of unexpected salvation. John collapses, utterly spent, but he's there, he's made it. The triumphant clink of the bell signaling the start of the duel seems almost anticlimactic after that brutal climb. He's bruised, bleeding, and exhausted, but he's standing, a testament to his indomitable spirit, and perhaps the power of a really good boy. Finally, dawn breaks over Paris, and the duel is set. John Wick and the Marquis de Gramont stand opposite each other, pistols at the ready, with the arbitrator presiding over the ancient ritual. Winston, Kane, and the Bowery King are present, silent witnesses to this climactic showdown. The air is thick with tension, the only sounds the soft rustle of the wind and the crisp snap of the arbitrator's voice as he lays out the strict rules. 3 rounds, each man fires, and the last one standing wins. The Marquis, ever the coward, immediately changes the conditions, opting for antique flintlock pistols, thinking he has an advantage. It's a calculated move, designed to humiliate John and ensure his death. But John, as always, is ready. He's walked this road before, and he's ready to dance one last time. The Marquis, in a truly despicable move, makes Kane fire first in the initial rounds, claiming John's second shot. Kane, with a pained expression, fires, striking John. The muffled thud of the bullet hitting his armored suit is a grim reminder of Winston's foresight. In the second round, the Marquis himself steps up, firing a shot that grazes John, sending him stumbling. The sharp crack of the pistol and John's pained gasp echo across the plateau. John is hurt, blood seeping through his suit, but he refuses to fall. He's a battered statue, defiant and unyielding, proving that even a broken Wick is still more dangerous than a fully confident Marquis. The crowd watches in stunned silence, a morbid curiosity filling the Parisian air. In the final round, John, battered and seemingly defeated, raises his pistol. The click of the hammer on an empty chamber fills the air. The Marquis, overcome with arrogant glee, steps forward to deliver the final, humiliating blow. He raises his pistol, a smirk plastered on his face, believing he has won, but John, always one step ahead, reveals the brilliant twist. He never fired his own third shot. With a final, thunderous bang, John unleashes his actual last bullet, sending it straight into the Marquis's smug face. The Marquis collapses, a look of shocked disbelief frozen on his features. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the triumphant, knowing glance between John and Winston. It's a masterclass in playing the long game, a final, definitive mic drop from our favorite dog-loving assassin. With the Marquis defeated, John Wick, mortally wounded from his previous encounters, sits on the steps overlooking Paris. Winston and Kane stand by him, silent witnesses to his final moments. The beautiful Parisian sunrise paints the sky in hues of orange and purple, a peaceful backdrop to John's tumultuous end. He whispers a final thought about Helen, the love of his life, a poignant reminder of what truly drove him. Then, with a soft thud, he collapses, seemingly succumbing to his injuries. Winston, with a knowing glance, confirms his death. It's a quiet, dignified end for a man who lived a life of deafening violence. The High Table is defeated, John is free, and the world can finally exhale, or can it? The ambiguity hangs heavy in the air, leaving us to wonder if this is truly the end of the Baba Yaga. Sometime later, Winston and the Bowery King stand before John Wick's grave. The inscription reads "Loving Husband," a simple, powerful epitaph for a man whose life was anything but simple. John's dog sits loyally by the tombstone, a silent guardian. The crisp rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze and the distant chirp of birds are the only sounds, creating a moment of quiet reflection. It's a peaceful, melancholic scene, suggesting that perhaps, in death, John has finally found the peace he so desperately sought. Winston, now reinstated as manager of the New York Continental, exchanges a knowing look with the Bowery King. The High Table has been put in its place, and a new era, or at least a brief respite, seems to have begun for those who dare defy it. The world moves on, but the legend of John Wick will undoubtedly echo through the hidden corners of this criminal underworld for generations, but the story isn't quite over. In a classic post-credits tease, we see Kane, finally free to be with his daughter. He's walking through a bustling marketplace, the everyday sounds of life a stark contrast to his past. Then Akira appears, her eyes locked on Kane, a glint of steel in her hand. The soft shink of the knife being drawn is chilling, a silent promise of the vengeance she swore earlier. It's a stark reminder that in the world of John Wick, no loose ends truly stay loose, and some debts, especially those paid in blood, will always find their reckoning. The cycle of violence, it seems, is a never-ending waltz, even after the dance floor has been cleared. The High Table might be weakened, but personal vendettas burned just as fiercely, and so, we close the chapter. On John Wick, or do we? This journey has been a masterclass in defiance, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure, even when facing insurmountable odds. John's story reminds us that even in the darkest corners, where rules are twisted and loyalty is currency, one person's unwavering conviction can shake an entire world. It's about fighting for what you believe in, even if that's just a memory or the simple right to peace. His legacy isn't just one of violence, but of an unyielding spirit that dared to say no to the system, and in that, there's a powerful lesson for us all.